down under, secrets unfold. True crime stories, let the intrigue be told. Grab a seat, get cozy, let's dive into the plot. With Mac J by my side, there's so much to be sought. Mods from the stars, they light up the night. Chillin' with Van, everything feels just right. Welcome to the mystery, the thrill, the thrill we embrace. Solving cases together we'll trace. With Tabby and Maggie, the journey's begun. With laughter and stories, we'll shine like the sun. Spirit Time vibes with Lisa and Mark. Tia and Mel igniting the spark. According to Lean, curiosity flows. A curious rose in a garden of woes. Sweet misery whispers, tales that enthrall. While Matt, Meg, and Jody, we gather them all. Welcome to the mystery, the thrill we embrace. Solving cases together we'll trace. With Tabby and Maggie, the journey's begun. With laughter and stories, we'll shine like the sun. So come along, join the fun tonight. In Aussie true crime, everything feels so right.
Hello.
You can tell I've been so long since I've used it, I even muted myself. How are we all? It's been so long since we've been on, and we've had some changes, but let's see who's here. We've got beautiful Kaz. I don't know if she's still around, but I'm sure she'll come back. Jody, how are you, my darling? My beautiful Van and Focus. Kitty Witty, how are you? It's been a while since I've seen you around. That's about it at the moment. So, first I have to apologise that we have been so long till we came back. There's been a lot going on, and I'm going to quickly go over some of it. There has been some changes, and Focus is now helping me co-host as well.
Yep.
There's nothing went wrong with me and Mac J. It's just Focus wants to learn StreamYard, so this is the best way for him to learn is to get him up here and doing it. So why were we gone so long to start with? I know a lot of you know about my condition and my spinal, I have a pinch on my nerve. About 3 months ago, it got a lot worse, and my one pinch has now gone to 4. So that's why we've been off. I have been in a lot of pain. It even took our beautiful Van to come down and spend a week with me and kick me in my ass to get back up and start doing stuff. I loved having her here and her children, and we had a beautiful week. But yeah, so I'm back. With my condition, I am putting back onto a surgery list, so now we're just waiting again to see what happens with that. But yeah. Now, I wanted to go over a bit about Gus because, as we all know, there has been some huge changes in the last 24 hours of this case. And I've had so much stuff coming in that I'm only going to be taking like a snip off the iceberg tonight, but I wanted to go through some of it. Thanks, Jody. It is, but What can we do? It's life. So I have made a little video for him, and we'll watch that, and then we'll get into it.
In the silence, we hold on tight. Memories of you, girl, shining bright. Though the days stretch long and the nights are cold, our love for you is worth more than gold. Together we stand, never backing down. 'Cause you are cherished all over this town. 'Cause a precious boy, you're not alone. With every prayer, we bring you home. As your army, united we plead. In our hearts forever, you'll always be. 4 months, 9 days, our hope still strong. With every tear, we sing you a song. To your parents, this sea of sorrow flows. But from darkness, the love for you grows. You're our life, our strength, we won't lose faith. In every heartbeat, we feel your grace. You're some precious boy, you're not alone. With every prayer, we bring you home. As your army, united we plead. In our hearts forever, you'll always be. Precious girls will keep the fight. In our hearts, you are the
So many prayers for this beautiful little baby. I've just got to... It is. And 32 months focus. Wow. That's how long I've been monetized. That's scary.
It's gone by quick.
It has. Welcome in, my darling. Okay, so what I'm going to do first... I don't know why I'm echoing.
Probably from me.
No, you're in it. Okay, so what we're going to do first is just go over the timeline again, just for people that want to catch up. And I'm going to share my screen. So September 27th was when Gus disappeared. So from the September 27th to October 1st was our first major search for him. October 14th, the task force formed, and October 14th to 17th was the second search of the property. October 31st, the dam was drained, and November 24th to 25th, they went in and searched all of the mine shafts. January 6th, the police interviews continued, and February 5th, what was yesterday, is when we got all the bombshell information. So let me go to another one because I want to. I just got to double check I'm getting the right one. So this calendar takes us into Oak Park, which is in South Australia. And it's over near Adelaide for people trying to get it out so we can see it a bit more.
Yeah, it's a very rural part of Adelaide.
And we've been going over like this property that they own. They laid it over Adelaide itself, and the property itself is bigger than Adelaide. Little Miss Sharon, how are you, my darling? Thank you. I have missed everyone so much. So let's get into what happened yesterday. I can't even run StreamYard at the moment.
Sorry about the background noise. Young fella's still going to sleep.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find the right one because I have heaps of tabs open.
Ozzy's been busy all day working on this to get it in for tonight.
I'm just trying to find the right one at the moment. Okay. Got it. Now, I have got this on my page for people that want to see it in our video section, but I wanted to play this one because on the side of the screen you can actually see some of the photos that we couldn't see in it. So I'll play this to start with.
Here today to provide you an update in relation to the ongoing missing person investigation relating to Gus Lamont. The search for 4-year-old Gus, who disappeared from Oak Park Station on the 27th of September last year, has been the largest and most intensive missing person search ever undertaken by SAPOL. Every police officer and civilian involved in the search for Gus has had the sole focus of locating Gus and returning him to his parents. Sadly, to date, our efforts to locate Gus have not been successful. On the 14th of October last year, the Commissioner approved the establishment of Task Force Horizon to continue the investigation in relation to locating Gus. Since Gus's disappearance, there's been a groundswell of support from a range of government agencies, private companies and community groups, all with the same focus as us, and that is to locate Gus. The scale of the air and ground search as part of this investigation is unprecedented, and today I'm going to provide you much more detail around what we have done in relation to that as part of the Task Force Horizon investigation. The search for Gus was based on him walking off from Oak Park Station and becoming lost. This is one of 3 investigation options that have been explored by the members attached to Task Force Horizon. The other 2 investigation options are focused on Gus being abducted from Oak Park Station, or whether someone known to him was involved in his disappearance and suspected death. I'll provide you further details on all of those concurrent investigations this afternoon. As well as that, today I'm also declaring the disappearance of Gus Lamont to be a major crime. So I'll start with the foot search. As I've indicated, the foot search has been unprecedented and the resources that have been used have been significant. And just to give you a snapshot of what that is, 163 SAPOL members, including recruits, have been used in the search operation. 230 non-SAPOL resources have been used. That includes the SES, the Australian Defence Force, the Army, who deployed twice in and around the Oak Park Station area. Indigenous trackers and community groups have all been involved. We've had deployments to Oak Park Station for over 20 days as part of that search operation. And there's been 8 separate searches, at least 8 separate searches.
Jody, you'll just have to make sure that he's subbed, because he's got a sub to come into chat. And hello, Matt, how are you? It is so good to see everyone in here and so many old faces.
Which is conducted at Oak Park Station. Due to the remoteness of Oak Park Station and the challenges that that environment provides, the searching would not have been possible without the assistance of these resources. And I'd just like to very quickly thank the Australian Defence Force and particularly the Army and the State Emergency Service for their participation in those searches. Detailed ground search to a radius of 5.47 kilometres out from Oak Park Station was conducted over several days. So I'd just like to show you what that is. So you'll see on the slide here, Oak Park Station in the middle, and the blue line that goes around that is the distance of 5.47 kilometres. That equates to about 94 square kilometres. To give you some context, this is what it looks like if you overlaid that into the CBD. You can see that 5 square kilometres takes up the majority of the inner suburban metropolitan area of Adelaide. It's a significant distance that has all been searched on foot, as I've said.
Massive property.
Back to the slide that now shows you what that looks like on Oak Park Station. So you'll see in the shaded area is Oak Park Station itself. That is the boundary of the station. The 5.47 kilometres takes in a significant portion of the station, but you'll also see that it also just cuts out of the station into some of the neighbouring properties. Again, all of that area there, 95 or 94 square kilometres, has all been searched on foot. That search has been overseen by police forward commanders, experienced police forward commanders and very experienced field search controllers. We have a large degree of confidence that that area has been searched thoroughly. You might ask why 5.47 kilometres? The National Search and Rescue Manual indicates to us scientifically, soundly based statistical data that
It is so good to see all the gang back. And I don't know where Mac J is. I did send it to her. You'll probably be in soon, hopefully. I just want to touch on Kitty Witty's there, that she watched another case from France. So many kids are going missing from grandparents' houses. It is scary how many, and it's usually always around grandparents. What's just horrible. But this case, I know I said it long ago, and I had my theories on who was involved, and sadly, this has just concluded it all that it is. It's very, very sad, but I want to. This is bombshell stuff. There is so much information in this, so I just want to. If we can get through this, I can then give you updates on what's happened today in it, because there's been heaps. Yeah. I mean, even yesterday was Summer's birthday, and she's been gone for 5 years. It's just sad. Chick Tracy, how are you, my darling? Welcome in.
Children aged 4 to 6 years of age are located 95% of the time within 5.47 kilometres of their last known place they were seen. So it's not guesswork. It's based on scientific, factual, reliable statistical data is why we put the foot search into that area and why we invested so much time and effort into that area in the early part of this investigation. As you'd appreciate, and you already know, this area contained 3 dams. Those dams have been searched twice. On one of those occasions, we actually drained the dams so that the police divers could satisfy themselves as close to 100% as they could that Gus is not in any of those dams, and we are confident that he's not. While I don't have a picture of it, there is a watercourse that also runs through Oak Park Station, and that has also been thoroughly searched. In total, as I said, 8 searches have been conducted at Oak Park Station around the homestead and outbuildings, interior and exterior of all of those buildings. You'll see in the top right is an overhead picture of Oak Park Station homestead and some of those outbuildings. The larger picture is a picture of the shearing shed, and then the bottom right are some other outbuildings attached to Oak Park Station, not necessarily nearby to the homestead. Some of them are a few kilometres away, but all of those outbuildings have been searched multiple times, and some of those outbuildings have also been subjected to forensic testing. No stone has been left unturned in terms of searching those outbuildings and the homestead. Coupled with that, the owners of Oak Park Station and the neighbouring properties have also been conducting their own searching. We know that their properties have been mustered with the stock that's on those properties at least once since the 27th of September, which effectively means they've covered a significant amount of ground in Oak Park Station, mustering stock during that time. We've got no information that would suggest that Gus has been located during those searches either. You'll also know that we've searched some mine shafts that are located within 10 kilometres of Oak Park Station. Those 2 photographs there are indicative of what those mine shafts look like. They were taken by Task Force Horizon members who were on the ground the day that those mine shafts were searched. We are confident, very confident, that Gus is not in these mine shafts. 6 of them were done, and gives you an indication of what they look like.
Now, see, that's the thing.
Ground searching.
There's cattle that it's a grazing area, so livestock. Now, livestock trample ground, kick up dust, so it always looks loose. They would know this being out there, so anywhere on that land out there, he could be buried, not necessarily in the mine shaft, because once the cattle go over it, it's all kicked up and all you're seeing is cattle tracks. So they should have gone out there with the machinery and checked. It'd be a long, hard thing to do, but they should have gone over every square inch of that property using their X-ray technology to look into the ground instead of just checking the mine shafts.
I have been, like, especially the last 24 hours, going over some of the footage that they've had. And do you mean some of the drones that they had out there on these searches, they could tell the difference from a sheep to a person, what was absolutely amazing. What saddens me with it all is how much money has gone into all these searches with the result coming out as it is, because they do have a suspect. I seen just Chick Tracy just ask. They haven't told us yet which one, but they've basically brought it down to there was 3 adults in the house, one being the biological mother and the grandma and grandfather / grandmother. The parents have been ruled out. Of course, we know Josh, the biological father, wasn't on the property. He lived a couple of hours away. And that was because he had had a fight with the grandparents and he didn't think it was safe for the children to be on the property. And that just tears my heart out because he was right. Look what happened. We don't, you mean they go on in this to say that there are discrepancies in the timeline, and that's the timeline we've been given. And it was about 2 weeks before he went missing that he was actually last seen by somebody outside of the family. So it's come back to both of the grandparents, and they have both lawyered up. They lawyered up straight after this police conference. I have found the lawyers, and I'll go into that soon as well, who they are and everything. I do know that the biological, I don't like calling it the grandmother, the biological grandmother / father or grandfather has got a criminal lawyer. So a criminal lawyer can represent anyone that's involved in criminal matters, whether they're charged under investigation or seeking advice, usually handles investigations, advice, and possible negotiation before charges. And the grandmother has a defense lawyer who specifies and represents someone who is already a suspect or charged, focusing on defending against the criminal allegations in court. So they both, I do have, as I said, I'll go through soon who they are, but they both have lawyered up, and I do know that the grandmother / the grandfather / grandmother has the bigger lawyer. And Focus actually came from South Australia. How far were you out of Adelaide?
I lived around some of the suburbs in Adelaide, but where I met you, I was 2 hours out of Adelaide, the other side of Adelaide. But I spent 16, nearly 17 years there.
Yeah. Would think it was an accident. Police would be called straight away. The whole lot just sounds horrible. Yeah. If you've got nothing to hide, you would get help. Josie is a great, yeah.
Let's go to aerial searching now. So we've conducted aerial searching of vast areas surrounding Oak Park Station. Initially, Polair attended and searched from Oak Park Station out to a distance of around about 12 kilometres on the night that Gus disappeared, using their forward-looking infrared technology attached to the helicopter. But there was no sign of Gus using that capability. We then employed the services of a specialised drone company who did some specific searching out to 2.5 kilometres from the homestead, 2 kilometres around the dams that I spoke about, and also down some roadways leading in and out of Oak Park Station, about 8 kilometres down one roadway and 6 kilometres down another. The imagery,
Matt, it was in the middle of nowhere. And that's the thing that they go on to say as well, that this is not a property that you would just come across. So if it was someone that had came in and abducted him, it's not. Do you mean you have to know the property or specifically be going there? So it's not exactly somewhere that you just drive past either.
and I'll speak about the imagery shortly. We also engaged the services of an aircraft that had highly specialised camera equipment in the aircraft. That aircraft flew on 2 occasions for us. Firstly, out to a distance of 10 kilometres, which included the 5. So you'll see the red line gets out to 10. And also it flew out to 15 kilometres. And that's the green line. Again, I'll give you an indication of what that might look like in terms of area as you overlay it onto the metropolitan area of Adelaide. That's the area that has been searched by a highly specialised aircraft. It's not an insignificant area. In fact, out to the green line is 706 square kilometres has been searched.
Such a big area.
Just go back to the Oak Park station there. You'll see 94 square kilometres was the initial search, out to 10. We then went out to 15. As I've said earlier, 95% of 4 to 6 year olds statistically are located within that blue circle. We are reducing that percentage even further by going out significantly further than the 5 kilometres, such as the effort that we've made to locate Gus. What we did with the imagery that was captured by the aircraft and the drone, we gave to an external AI company who was able to provide us really high definition pictures and footage. And all of this imagery has been reviewed by members who are attached to Task Force Horizon. So I'd just like to give you just a bit of an indication of what that looks like. So when we get our report back from the company, you'll see on the right is essentially a circle. That is the circle out to 15 kilometres. And you'll see different colours within that. And what those colours are relates to what's on the left of the screen in terms of livestock and animals. So from the AI, we know that at that particular...
I did have a list. I did see they took the motorbike, Jody. I had a list somewhere. I just can't find it right now of everything that they did take. There was quite a bit that they took. But yeah, I've got questions too. But I think everything's going to be... I've got a funny feeling there's going to be a charge laid in the next week or two for this case. And we'll find out everything. I think everything that we've been told so far is just not what happened. Jody's, yeah.
Particular time, Oak Park Station had almost 10,000 sheep, which are blue, on their station, 6,300 plus goats, kangaroos. It even distinguishes between red and grey ones, such is the ability of the AI, and so it goes on. So all of those animals are depicted there within that circle. You'll see down the bottom that it's detected 1 human, and I'll show you what that is in a minute. But what it also does is it identifies to us areas of interest that should be searched that is not obvious to the AI, where they can't distinguish whether it's an animal or they can tell us what it is. So we have attended Oak Park Station on a number of occasions checking out those individual sites. So here's a slide that shows you what that imagery looks like. Really high quality. The human is on the right there that's riding the motorbike. Clearly that's not Gus, but that will show you that the AI will pick up what a human is compared to a sheep or a goat or a kangaroo. So we'll just go to the next slide. And that's how we can zoom in on the imagery and how clear that is and what we can actually see on the ground, particularly out past that 10 and 15 kilometre mark. There's a couple of sheep there. So this is a capability that hasn't previously been used by SAPOL, and really getting this imagery captured and analysed for us would not have been possible without the assistance of some of these companies. And I just want to take a very short moment to thank them, and they are Nearmaps Proprietary Limited, Working Drone.
So I just found the list. They seized a motorbike, a car, phones, computers, iPads from Oak Park. Shannon is cooperating with the authorities, but Robert/Josie isn't. More than 380 calls to Crime Stoppers, 38 emails to police, 2 letters to police, as well as a large number of international documents were analysed. So that's the things that they took. Yeah, the car was as well, is on the list. And with what I've just said, you got to listen, because they do say about one person not cooperating, and that basically that's the suspect. So Shannon is still cooperating. It's Josie/Robert that isn't.
Why wouldn't you cooperate? Doesn't make sense.
Because you're guilty.
Yeah, that's right.
Drones Australia, Fujitsu, SciI Proprietary Limited, and the Australian Federal Police also assisted. And I want to thank them for the support that they've given to Task Force Horizon, and the support that they continue to give is much appreciated. So what's the result of all of this? The ground searches and the aerial searches, with the images that you've seen, have failed to locate Gus or any items belonging to Gus. At this time, despite all of the combined search efforts, we have found no evidence, physical or otherwise, to suggest that Gus has merely wandered off from the Oak Park homestead. However, if we do get new information that does come to hand, I'm not going to discount that further searching will be done, but you can see from the level of searching that has been undertaken, we have a high level of confidence that he hasn't wandered off. As I said earlier, the investigation has also focused on whether Gus was abducted from the property. And that has been a significant part of the Task Force Horizon members' day-to-day work in terms of establishing whether that has or has not happened. What we've done in relation to abduction, we have spoken to all people in the broader area around the mid-north and out even further who presents a risk profile associated with abduction or child offending. Those people have been discounted. We've identified and spoken to neighbours and people who were or had been working on Oak Park Station or neighbouring properties at around the time of Gus's disappearance. We've identified people and vehicles in the vicinity of or travelling around the area of Oak Park Station at the time of Gus's disappearance. All of those people have been contacted and have been discounted. In addition to that, we've assessed, reviewed and investigated 380 Crime Stopper actions, 38 emails directly received from members of the public, 2 letters that we've received with information from members of the public, and a large number of internal South Australia Police intelligence documents. Through all of this effort, we have found no evidence to suggest that Gus was abducted from the property. So on that, I just want to quickly go through to firm that up for you, what opportunity for abduction might look like. Oak Park Station is remote. It is 45 kilometres inland from the nearest main roadway, which is the Barrier Highway. Oak Park Station doesn't have a signpost or anything like that off a road that points you to Oak Park Station. There's nothing obvious that would lead you to Oak Park Station unless you know where you're going and the way there. It can only be accessed by one of two 45-kilometre dirt roads that come in from different directions. The red line on the bottom right there will show you, it looks like one road, but it's actually two. You'll see Oak Park Station kind of in the middle there. The one line that comes in from the left of that picture and the other from the top right are the two roads that come into Oak Park Station. They can only be accessed by four-wheel drive. If you're driving on those roads, you're going to one of the stations or you're lost. It's not a place that you just go to. There are several gates on each of the driveways which impede access to Oak Park Station, and a number of these gates are regularly locked and secured by the station owners and the property owners in the area. Both the driveways bypass other neighbouring properties. You have to drive past other stations to get to Oak Park. The roads are not a thoroughfare. And as I've said, if you're driving on those roads, you're there for a reason. There were no vehicles foreign to the area at Oak Park Station that have been identified by either the property owners themselves or the neighbouring properties at the time that Gus went missing. We know that if there is a vehicle that is sighted anywhere in the vicinity of Oak Park Station, I'm saying anywhere kilometres away from Oak Park Station, there is normally dust in the air that will tell you that a vehicle is either arriving or leaving that area. No dust, no sighting of any vehicles at the time that Gus went missing. There's been no foreign tracks located arriving or leaving the property. The timing of being in the area when Gus was playing outside would need to be impeccable. If Gus has been abducted, it is absolutely fortuitous. There is no pattern of Gus playing outside at Oak Park Station. So for someone to start to get a dossier together on movements and time of the day, etc., we are very confident is very, very unlikely. So the opportunity for anybody to abduct Gus is extremely low with what I've just explained about the remoteness of the property and with the work that Task Force Horizon investigators have done around people in the area at the time. So it leaves us with the other part of the investigation, and that is investigating whether people known to Gus were involved in his disappearance. So from the time that Gus went missing, the family members have been cooperating with police and providing information that has assisted with establishing the movements of Gus around the time that he went missing. A detailed review of all that information has been conducted by Task Force Horizon members. As a result of that, we've identified a number of inconsistencies and discrepancies with that information as it relates to timelines and the versions of events provided to us by the family members. As a result of these inconsistencies and
Hi, Eddie. Welcome in.
investigations into them, a person who resides at Oak Park Station has withdrawn their support for the police and is no longer cooperating with us. On the 14th and 15th of January this year, Task Force Horizon investigators attended at Oak Park Station and executed a search warrant. A further comprehensive forensic search was conducted of the Oak Park Station homestead, and a number of items were seized, including a vehicle, a motorcycle, and some electronic devices. All of these items are now subject to forensic testing. The person who has withdrawn their cooperation is now considered a suspect in the disappearance of Gus. I do want to stress, however, that Gus's parents are not suspects in his disappearance.
What leaves one
I
person?
appreciate at this time I cannot make any further comment about the suspect, given that this is now a criminal investigation and a declared major crime. What I can say, however, is that we'll continue to thoroughly and meticulously investigate the disappearance of Gus until we get an outcome. We are all focused and determined to locate Gus and return him to his parents. Nothing is off the table as we work towards that outcome.
Thank you so much, little Miss Sharon.
I just want to take just a short opportunity to thank some people so far. As I've said, it's a 4-month investigation that is ongoing. I do want to thank the members of the public who have provided information to police. The information has been overwhelming at times, but it has been valuable, and all of that information has been investigated. On that, I again encourage anyone who has any information that might assist the investigation, and particularly to assist us locate Gus, to contact police or to call Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. I want to acknowledge the assistance that has been provided to Task Force Horizon by the local police attached to the York Mid-North region and the other specialist areas, including those sections within Star Group. Their support has been a very, very important part of progressing this investigation. Finally, I'd like to sincerely thank the detectives, intelligence and uniform members who are attached to Task Force Horizon. These members have worked tirelessly and displayed unwavering commitment, dedication and resilience during what has been a very complex and challenging investigation. All of these officers at times have made personal sacrifices, but they remain as committed today to this investigation as what they were at the start. We are all working towards locating Gus and returning him to his parents. I'm proud of the work that Task Force Horizon have done and continue to do, and the community should take comfort that no stone is being left unturned in this investigation. Just some advice for you as the media. I want to take the opportunity to remind you that on the instructions of the family, you don't have permission to enter Oak Park Station. If you don't heed those instructions, there is a very good chance that you'll face trespassing charges. That's on the instructions of the family. On the same note, the family members have requested privacy in relation to this as they continue to work through the grief of losing 4-year-old Gus. I would appreciate if you would respect their privacy. It would help them a lot as they work through this. So I'm happy to take any questions that you have. You would appreciate that there are some operational and investigational matters that I can't make comment on or expand on at this time, but I'm happy to take your questions.
Superintendent rather, sorry. It's obviously been widely reported before that there was Gus's grandmother, grandparent, mother and younger brother on the property at the time. You've obviously discounted other workers on neighbouring properties and the property. Were there police identified any other family members or friends that were on the property at the time?
No, they're the only people that were on the property at the time.
Are you confident of an arrest?
Sorry?
Are you confident that there will be an arrest?
The investigation, it clearly is continuing, as I've said. We want to find Gus. If we make an arrest, then that is, I'm not discounting that we will, definitely.
Will you be conducting other searches outside of Oak Park now that you're confident in something?
If information comes to hand that would lead us to another area to search, we will search those areas. as you can see from the pictures I showed you earlier, 15 kilometres out from Oak Park Homestead is a significant distance. It covers a significant amount of country or area. We don't intend to search, or we don't have any information that would go to search any other areas at this time. But as I said, if we get new information, we will search almost anywhere to find Gus.
In terms of the suspect, are they still living on the property, and how difficult does that make your investigation?
As I said, I can't talk too much, well, not even too much. I can't give you any more information about the suspect or where the suspect is and why that person is a suspect. When we have a suspect in an investigation, it can have its own challenges. So we're working through those. Task Force Horizon are completely aware of what those challenges are, but we'll continue to pursue the investigation on that front.
When did police first become aware of the discrepancies in the timelines?
So we've been obtaining information from family members right at the start of this investigation. We have spoken to members of the family on multiple occasions in order to get information in relation to Gus's disappearance. Only as recently as the 14th and 15th of January, when we attended there, did we get more information that we've analysed and reviewed, which again has highlighted some discrepancies. So when we line the information that we received from the family against what we've been doing concurrently in relation to searching and the abduction possibility, all of that information has taken some time to get here or to get to this point. So we've been looking at information almost right from the start.
Can you elaborate on those discrepancies?
No, I'm not going to elaborate on those.
And I imagine you have to be really careful with your language here, and you wouldn't declare someone a suspect if you didn't have good reason. Can you just talk us through how delicate this investigation is?
Yeah, it's very delicate. We have a suspect who we believe is known to Gus. So I'm not going to speak too much about that at all, but I can tell you that Task Force Horizon members, myself, are very cognizant of how delicate that is and what that means for the family.
Just going back to the option of with someone known to him involved in disappearance. When you say that, obviously it's been publicised before that police believe Gus is dead. So you're suggesting that somebody known to him has killed him either deliberately or accidentally. Is that specifically what you're saying?
That is what is being explored. Yes. Yep. We don't believe now that Gus is alive. That is true.
How difficult is an investigation like this, where you go into a potential disappearance to then be able to treat it as a potential murder or accidental death? How difficult is that line to tread for police in these investigations?
Yeah, it is difficult to tread, but we work on follow the evidence. We work on the information that comes in, and that's why it's 4 months we've been doing this. So investigations take many twists and turns. As I said, we've 380 Crime Stopper actions that need to be followed up. We don't know whether any of those have a small part of the jigsaw puzzle or the small snippet that we're looking for. So it's challenging. It's delicate at times when you're dealing with family members. It's challenging when you're dealing with the broader community, when you know a 4-year-old child is missing. But our people have been unwavering in all of that. They've kept an open mind and still do for much of the time. So it has its challenges, but we've got a great team of people working on Task Force Horizon, and I'm confident we'll come up with the right resolution.
Does the suspect have legal representation now?
Yes.
And how is that, is that causing a challenge for police?
I'll just leave it at that. They've got legal representation.
Do you think Gus was ever there when police were there initially?
Possibly. Police were on scene quite quickly. Quickly when they were advised that Gus was missing. Yes, there was some time in between, but it is possible.
So do you believe the timeline of when he was...
Hey, Mike J.
We're still working on that timeline, yes.
Can you tell us what items received
Hey, my darling, welcome
We
in.
seized a vehicle, a motorcycle, and some electronic devices.
In terms of the difference, I mean, this is quite different to any other murder investigation or murder investigation in terms of the remoteness of this. Is it hard to confirm discrepancies, timelines when you are in such a remote area? What's the difference between that and that in the city?
Yes, it is. One of the biggest challenges we've had in this investigation is the location of where it's occurred. So in a metropolitan area,
Wow, guys, 27 months.
we can rely on
Thank
CCTV,
you so
we can
much.
rely on traffic camera footage, for example. There's a lot more witnesses that we can get accounts from. That's what makes this challenging in terms of the amount of people that are involved as family members who are providing us the information, and then coupled with who we've been able to discount out of this. That's what makes it harder. And anything that happens remotely like that challenges us from what our traditional ways of doing investigations can be. So,
Have you, given that you've obviously done a pretty extensive search, do you believe the only way you're going to find Gus is if somebody gives you the information as to where he is?
We would love for that to happen, but we won't stop pulling all the levers we can to find him. So that might mean we do more searching with new information, but it is a possibility that one of the ways that we'll find him is someone comes forward and tells us what has happened.
Yes, Mac J, this is the press conference that came out yesterday. We had big news. We had nothing for so long, and then this.
So this property was northeast of Adelaide. Now, the furthest I've been with working was Peterborough, and that took about a 4-hour drive. So if you're out there and you're lost, you're pretty much all stranded unless you can come across one of the farmers to give you a hand. It's that secluded from Adelaide itself.
Just on that.
And there's Caps.
How reliable is that? Are you confident now that he's not in that space that was searched?
Highly confident.
Yeah.
Highly confident.
So he's been moved.
Yeah, I hear him.
We don't think he's in that search area. We don't think he's in the 5.74 kilometres. We're highly confident of the detail of that search. And yes, we're talking about aerial AI imagery, but you've seen how clear that is. We're highly confident he's not in that area.
Yeah, but that imagery doesn't go underground.
I won't go into it too much, but we know that they were vehicles that have been used on the property. They are of interest to us. They will undergo forensic examination, and we'll see what comes from that.
You also mentioned electronic devices. Can you elaborate on what they are?
Phones, computers, iPads.
Do you suspect that perhaps Gus could have been moved in one of those vehicles?
I'm not going to speculate on what we think might have happened. We're following some investigational lines of inquiry around those vehicles and the electronic devices, etc. But I won't speculate on that at this point.
How long will it take for that to come back, the forensics?
I don't know, but we don't expect it to be too long.
In relation to the suspect, have police identified any potential motives?
No.
How was the family when you told them this news?
Shocked would be one. They
went through them, Mac Joe.
With solutions just as we do. So we're working closely with them. We're supporting them. We speak to them regularly. So I think they would have been shocked to think what our next move has been in relation to the investigation. Yeah.
Am I also communicating? Or
yes. No, they're still talking. Yeah.
Ask questions, please.
Darren, would you mind just pointing at a screen for us, please, just to show us where you've got across the maybe
Sure.
No worries, mate.
maybe just a couple of the different photos.
See, now that's the thing. A lot of the people that have properties out there, they have their standard vehicle that they use for their daily and for work mustering and that. And some of them have what we call paddock bashes. So it's an old beat up piece of junk that barely runs, has no glass in it whatsoever. So when you're driving at high speed, you get nothing shattering. And those types of vehicles can be stashed absolutely anywhere and then burnt out.
And there are some people that are actually talking now saying that he could have still been on the property when the police first got there. But do you know what I mean? I'm not holding much into the timeline we've got because I don't think it's correct. I think there's going to be a lot more come out. But as we know, in Australia, we don't get a lot, especially with it being a child. We're not going to get a lot until the charges are out. But I don't think it's going to be long. Okay, so I've got...
And the police are going to hold things close because it's still an open investigation, so they're only going to release bits and pieces. But still, it's sus.
And as they said, they're going... there's one person who has stopped cooperating, and that is Josie. Shannon is still talking to the police and still cooperating with everything. They did bring in the dogs, yeah. But it wasn't until the second day that the dogs came in. They didn't come in the first night. How long was Goss alone with the grandparents, I wonder? So at this timeline we have is that at 5 o'clock, Gus was supposed to have gone out and played on the Sandmont. The mother and Josie were supposed to be out with some sheep. The grandmother was in the house looking after the 1-year-old brother and cooking dinner, according to her. When she came out at 5:30, he was gone, and that's when they've called the police. But I don't think that's correct. The last sighting outside of the family was about 2 weeks before he actually went missing. I think there'll be more to come out. And they have to hold so much so that they can, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're getting told everything.
No, we're definitely not. And I know they covered a big area, but if he hasn't been seen for 2 weeks, chances are they've taken him somewhere and one of the wildlife out there have snagged him and they've just ripped him to pieces. So there could be bones scattered all over the place.
Yeah. He stopped talking to police. Yes, well, it wouldn't have been yesterday because yesterday was a conference and he spoke in there saying that Josie had stopped, or that one of them had stopped talking. Yes, trains with a shotgun is, and I mean that's the thing. He won't let them on the property anymore either. So this is going over just some of the people that are involved. So obviously we know beautiful Gus. He was last seen wearing a blue T-shirt with a yellow minion on the front, grey sun hat, the light grey long pants and boots on September 27th. And he was playing in the sand outside his family's Oak Park Station homestead. The 4-year-old was described by neighbours as a very shy boy who they had never heard speak. This is Josie, the grandfather / grandmother. And then Shannon Murray is the grandmother. So this is Andrew E. and this is Josie's lawyer. He's a high-profile Adelaide lawyer, is acting for Josie Murray, a partner of Megan E. Associates. He received a preliminary ranking in Doyle's Guide in the Criminal Law in 2023. Over the past 15 years, he has become one of Adelaide's most recognised defence barristers, famously defending Australian Idol runner-up Shannon Noll over an assault charge in 2017 and appearing in multiple Supreme Court murder trials, including several high-profile cases. And this is Casey Isaac. This is Shannon's lawyer. He's a defence lawyer representing Shannon Murray, a partner at Cadadoc plus Isaac. Mr. Isaac has practiced since 2001 and was recognised in the Doyle's Guide in 2025. He appears regularly in the Court of Appeal, Supreme District and Magistrate Courts and has acted in matters ranging from traffic offences to fraud and we're talking about. He confirmed that he was acting for Shannon, saying that the family had been cooperating but would not be commenting.
He's got a name for himself there.
So this is Jessica. This is the biological mother. She was on the property at the time, but not at the house, I don't think. And Joshua, who is the biological father, he lived 100 kilometres away and he was at his property, not the homestead, he was at his property 100 kilometres away when it happened. If anything, do you know what I mean? I really feel for this guy because he had a fight with Josie over not thinking, he didn't think that the farm was a safe place for the children, and sadly, he was right. That's Bill Hubbardson. He came out and gave us a statement at this, I think it was a couple of days into it. He's a family friend as well. And then this is the main detective. Now, I do have... So they lawyered up after that. As soon as that press conference was given, they lawyered straight up. And today they gave out a statement. So I've got that for you as well.
The grandparents of missing South Australian boy Gus Lamont say they're devastated his disappearance is being treated as a possible murder. They were the last people to see him alive, insisting that they're fully cooperating with detectives.
Yeah, bullshit.
They've maintained their silence for months. Now Josie and Shannon Murray have been left with no choice but to speak out. With their grandson Gus's disappearance declared a major crime, they've lawyered up.
Mr. I, has your client been formally charged?
I can't comment at this stage, I'm sorry.
What can you tell us about it?
Nothing at the moment. Nothing that hasn't been already reported in the media.
Police believe Gus was either murdered or killed by accident and his body disposed of. They have a suspect, a family member who lives on the remote homestead where the 4-year-old vanished without a trace on September 27.
The Major Crime Squad do not declare a major crime just on a whim.
Detectives haven't revealed who the suspect is, but say it's not either of Gus's parents. The sinister twist leaving locals heartbroken.
He was a very nice little boy, very well dressed and always with his hanging onto his nan in his hand.
While Gus's grandparents have engaged separate lawyers, they issued a joint statement today. We are absolutely devastated by the media release of Sapole Major Crime. The family has cooperated fully with the investigation and want nothing more than to find Gus and reunite him with his mum and dad.
7 News understands police were at the homestead on Monday using a helicopter to scour the property once more. But after 8 painstaking searches and still no sign of Gus, they're convinced if his body is here, it's most likely hidden from plain sight.
In Yunta, Hannah Ford, 7 News.
The grandparents of missing South...
A man with a shot. I know. I do have that footage somewhere. I'd have to find it though. Jody, I reckon the cops could have found something on the gun. They have found something. Like, I have been following this pretty big in all the pages, but the grandparents are saying that the timeline in the story isn't consistent because they're listening to other people outside of the family. But do you know what I mean? They'd have to have more, and this is what Focus and I were talking about today. They would have to have more than just what people are saying. There'd have to be proof for them to turn this into a criminal investigation. I know that, do you mean all the money that they've spent on all of the searches, there would be something there if he was at the property, and they don't believe he was. Yeah, I wonder what they found too. It's something. And like, as I said, I have a feeling within the next week or two, we're going to have an arrest and we're going to have a lot more information given to us. So we are going to keep on.
I reckon in the next 72 hours.
I hope so. So we are going to keep on this. I will, in my videos, I keep up, like I'm trying to keep all of the updates, and now I'm back. I will be on it a lot more. If you're not in our Facebook page, please go and join it. I'll see if I can get the link and put in here for people that aren't. I have been putting up a lot of our Phoebe updates as well in there. Let me find it. All caps.
I'm trying to get it, but you'll probably beat me.
I don't know. It's not working for me at the moment. Hang on. Yeah, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. I just got it too.
Did he? I'll go have a look. Hang on. So I've just put the Facebook page up. If you're not in there, please go and join it. Let me go and find Deception Detective, and we'll see what he's put out.
I didn't put a link in there. What is the link?
No, it's because I did. Okay. I'm just going to share his link.
Oh, Caps, you can go lay down.
Yeah, I know I've got to go let him back out. I'll just copy this link. Hang on. I know most of us are, but if you're not, please go and give him some likes and everything. I'm not even sharing. I thought I was sharing it.
We begin with a bombshell development in the disappearance of 4-year-old Gus Lamont. Police today revealing that a family member who lives on the remote property is a suspect, declaring the case a major crime. Detectives now believe the little boy is dead and no longer on the property, where a number of items, including vehicles, have been seized. Tonight, our reporters are live at police headquarters and in the state's outback. Isaiah Sullivan begins our coverage.
After months of threatening and shaming anyone who dared question the family's innocence, Australian detectives have finally declared the disappearance of Australian tot Gus Lamont a major crime. So in today's video, let's watch this brand new update together because sadly, I think it might be too little, too late. I'm Deception Detective, an attorney trained in statement analysis. This channel exposes lies and manipulation. So if that's your thing, hit subscribe. For early access to new videos, over 60 exclusive videos and other cool perks, consider becoming a channel member. Link in description. If you're watching this video, I assume you're already familiar with the disappearance of Gus Lamont from his home in the Australian outback. So rather than recapping the case or my theory about it, let's just get straight into this update and we'll break it down as we go.
He vanished from the property, leaving a family shattered and an entire police force with a mountain of questions. Now, over 4 months later, a sinister turn.
Today, I'm also declaring the disappearance of Gus Lamont to be a major crime.
The head of the police major crime branch today revealing a family member who lived in the home with Gus is now considered a suspect in the 4-year-old's disappearance, and they're not cooperating with detectives.
The person who has withdrawn their cooperation is now considered a suspect in the disappearance of Gus.
Gus lived at Oak Park Station with 2 grandparents and his mother, but police have stressed his mum and dad are not suspects.
We've identified a number of inconsistencies and discrepancies with that information as it relates to timelines and the versions of events provided to us by the family members.
While I'm glad these detectives have updated their theory in light of the evidence, something I can't say for the investigators in the William Turrell case, which I've also analyzed, that's still not good enough. Not when every hour counts and not when the lies were so obvious. I won't rehash them all here. I'll link my entire playlist on the end card if you want to binge watch it next. But I will point out something the police did that I consider inexcusable. They had the perfect opportunity to arrest one of the grandparents, who in my opinion are the obvious suspects and have been since very early on, which would have allowed them to investigate more thoroughly without consent. And they didn't just let it slide, they actually threatened anyone who pointed it out. Here's a clip from the video I made about that so you can see for yourself. And no, this is not parody. This is real.
Grandmother of missing boy Gus Lamont has been filmed holding a shotgun as she was approached by an interstate media crew on the Mid-North property where the 4-year-old vanished.
Police today slammed the behaviour of the news outlets as their latest search of the large dam failed to find any new clues.
Gus's grandmother, shotgun in hand, confronts a Daily Mail reporter outside the homestead, despite the family's repeated pleas for privacy.
We'll have the police on you because you've been warned not to come here. Get out! Get out!
And it's because of this that they're warning people not to go, especially the media, not to go on the property.
The outlet's behaviour drawing the ire of top police.
The person had the gun for a legitimate purpose. They were dispatching a snake that was on their porch.
Oh my God, beautiful chick Tracy, thank you so much.
Wow, thank you.
There was no intent by the person having that firearm at that time to be threatening in any way.
And a stern warning to leave the family alone.
If this persists, then action will be taken. You will either be reported or arrested. This is completely disgraceful conduct.
So that's the explanation for the shotgun-wielding tirade on the porch, that Gus's grandparents were simply dispatching a snake. I don't buy it, but even if I did, it's not much better than simply admitting to having anger management issues, because it means they knowingly let their 4-year-old grandson play outdoors, unsupervised, at dusk, in an area where the snakes are so bold and so dangerous that the adults need shotguns to fend them off. In other words, no matter how you slice it, you're either looking at guardians who are extremely neglectful or ones with anger management issues, which correlate with child abuse and domestic violence. In the intro, when I said too little too late, That's the sort of stuff I was talking about. But we're not done yet. The police still have the opportunity to make things right. So let's continue listening.
Since the little boy vanished, detectives have simultaneously examined 3 different theories. The first, that Gus had wandered off on his own, but after a search unprecedented in its scale, misadventure has now been all but ruled out. So too has abduction, after contacting and discounting all other people believed to be in the area. Detectives now believe the third option is most likely, that someone known to Gus was involved in his disappearance, a development that prompted police to search the home at Oak Park Station.
And a number of items were seized, including a vehicle, a motorcycle, and some electronic devices. All of these items are now subject to forensic testing.
No charges have been laid, but detectives say they believe the 4-year-old is no longer alive, leaving a family devastated and divided.
But I can tell you that Task Force Horizon members, myself, are very cognizant of how delicate that is and what that means for the family.
Thank you. And that remote location is where we have our police reporter Samantha Hogan live for us tonight. Sam, police are confident Gus's body isn't on the expansive station there.
That's right, Brenton. The road I'm standing next to right now leads to the remote station that has been extensively searched over the past 4 months. And this is just about as far as we'll get tonight, as police have stressed that if anyone is found on the remote property, they could be arrested and charged with trespassing.
They sure are quick to arrest anyone except the most likely suspects. And I mean that literally. Statistically, when a 4-year-old goes missing from their home, the family, the people, the last people to see them alive are the most likely suspects. And in fact, that's why I gave the family the benefit of the doubt in the beginning, because statistically, the most likely cause of death or disappearance in those situations isn't first-degree murder. It's the child wandering off and then the family members lying about it in order to cover up some sort of attendant guilt, like neglect. Of course, it didn't take us long to update that theory because A, there was no evidence at all that Gus wandered off, so he's not a ninja. There should have been some evidence besides one solitary footprint, and B, it wouldn't explain all the other red flags, again, which I pointed out in earlier videos. All right, let's continue with this update.
Police say they're right now satisfied the missing 4-year-old isn't at Oak Park, though, and that confidence is based on what has been the largest missing persons operation ever undertaken in our state's history. Hundreds of personnel searching on foot, covering a precise 5.47 kilometre radius from where Gus was last seen, and that distance around the homestead isn't random. Police say it's based on national data showing children Gus's age, if they wander off, are found within that range 95% of the time. More than 700 square kilometres has also been scanned from the sky, drones and specialised aircraft deployed to scour the outback terrain. But despite all those efforts, no evidence has been recovered to help solve the mystery of missing Gus Lamont, leading investigators to their decision today to mark the missing persons case as a major crime. Brenton.
Sam, thank you.
So that's the update, and I'm rooting for the Australian police to solve this case and get justice for little Gus Lamont. Although, if they don't, I really don't care what their opinion of me is. We're going to continue looking for the truth. Check the end card for my Gus Lamont playlist and let me know if you want me to continue analyzing this case by liking, commenting, and sharing. And if the hype button is available, make sure to hype. Until next time, stay true.
There's no way he would have wandered off. He would have learned from a younger age not to wander. It's one of the things that the farmers do to kids on the farm.
So there is, I'm going to put one more link in here for you. This is a Facebook page that has been put up for Gus. It is very good. Like, they've got a lot of stuff in there. So if you want, go and join that one as well. But as I said, we're going to be coming back more regularly now. It's not going to be another big 3-month hiatus. And we will be keeping up with this case and bringing everything to you as well. Because I do feel very soon we're going to hear some more. Other than that, I'm going to play our little video again before we go out.
and the nights are cold. Our love for you is worth more than gold. Together we stand, never backing down. 'Cause you are cherished all over this town. 'Cause a precious boy, you're not alone. With every prayer, we bring you home. As your army, unite and we plead. In our hearts forever, you'll always be. 4 months, 9 days, our hope still strong. With every tear, we sing you a song. To your parents, this sea of sorrow flows. But from darkness, the love for you grows. You're our life, our strength, we won't lose faith. In every heartbeat, we feel your grace. You're some precious boy, you're not alone. With every prayer, we bring you home. As your army, unite and we plead. In our hearts forever, you'll always be. Precious God's will keep the fight. In our hearts, you are the
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming in, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, all.
Aussie true crime on the rise. Investigate the scene, uncover the lies. From Melbourne to Sydney, all the way to Perth. No case too tough, we'll dig into the dirt. We'll crack the code, find the truth, bring justice to the table. No excuse, Australian legends in the game, bringing light to darkness, no shame. Just got a super chat, let's celebrate. Raise a glass for all the cases we've solved in the past. With eyes wide open, we'll never rest. Aussie true crime, we're the best. From cold cases to missing persons, we'll leave no stone unturned. Every virgin detectives in our hearts will never give up. For justice and truth, we'll always hear up. Ooh, thank you so much. Let's celebrate, raise a glass for all the cases we solved in the past. With eyes wide open, we'll never rest. Aussie true crime, we're the best. Thank you so much. Let's celebrate, raise a glass for all the cases we solved in the past. With eyes wide open, we'll never rest. Aussie true crime, we're the best. For all the cases we solved in the past. With eyes wide open, we'll never rest. Aussie true crime, we're the best. Let's celebrate, raise a glass for all all the cases we solved in the past. With eyes wide open, we'll never rest. Aussie true crime, we're the best. Thank you so much.